Hello everyone, this is Crota giving you a shoutcast and game between oGs's the STC and Annyound Prime World Elite. I will try to refer to them as Terran and Zerg. I shouldn't have any problem accidentally reading the Korean because I don't speak Korean. So yeah, I know it's a phonetic language. At some point, I guess I could try to start recognizing the symbols, but yeah, that's at some point. I should probably start to learn how to read Chinese so my wife would actually be happy with my Mandarin. Anyways, we have the green Terran player spawning here at the top left-hand side of the map. Meanwhile, we have the red Zerg player here spawning on the top right-hand side of the map here on Shakuras Plateau. There will be a supply depot and a front door seal here in just a moment. I was able to do a little bit of sound quality and sound testing, and it looks like I will be upgrading to a new microphone in just a little bit. I am going to miss my old USB microphone, but I guess I'll have to look out there and see if I can get like a decent SM58. I'm pretty sure I can get one of those for you, so my treble and the fullness of my voice sounds a little bit better. You can now see the SCV making its way over here, activating the Xel'Naga Watchtower for just a moment, and now building a barracks. So a very interesting maneuver, building a proxy racks here. Is it going to get scouted out is the question, and I'm not 100%. Oh, it does get scouted out, so that is a complete blunder there by the Terran player. STC not realizing that the drone would be able to spot it right there. Should have perhaps built it over here or over here. That one SCV now going to take a fair amount of damage, needs to get the heck away. There it goes. It looks like it just stuttered away at just the last moment, and will be able to return home and continue mining. An SCV now making its way over here, trying to build this racks, as there is currently another SCV coming over to try to deal some damage back towards this drone. The drone did take 10 points of damage, but the natural regeneration very decently fast, I guess, on that drone, and that SCV will not be able to take it out. So a drone versus an SCV in a bar fight, the drone can actually win, just because it does regenerate hit points much more easily. You can see the drone already back up to 39 hit points, almost up to 40. If he engaged in a fight now, it would be almost a tie, as a drone now backs off. Still no barracks here, so I'm curious as to what exactly is going on, as we now see a command center. So this is a double gutsy move. Barracks, Marines now being trained off the center of the map now. SCV now trying to make their way down. Drones coming off the mineral line, trying to see if there is a bunker in play. There is currently no bunker, just one Marine. And now that Marine fighting off against a couple of drones. And now a bunker could be placed down. Are we going to get some Zerglings? Drones now making their way off to that low ground here. We are now lifting off the barracks and returning home, as the Terran player realized he is not going to get that much mileage, and he's not going to be successful with that aggressive style of play. But it did at least force a lot of Zerglings to be trained. You can see 6 Zerglings trained in the early portion of the game. Anytime that you can force your opponent to train more and more Zerglings, that means that he's not going to be able to power drone, and you are keeping up with him economically. Taking a look at the unit count, yeah, see 19 harvesters versus 15 drones. 19 SCVs versus 15 drones. A definite economic advantage now by the Terran player, especially as he does have a command center here as well currently, or which will be upgraded to an orbital command, allowing him to double mine off of this location and also double train SCVs when the time and need arises. SCV is now wandering around on the inside, trying to just gain and keep sight. You can see the Queen trying to keep up as well. The Queen does move at a decent movement speed, 2.5 on creep, so not quite as fast as a Reaper, but fast, almost as fast as an SCV. SCV, however, does have, the Queen does in fact have a little bit of range on her claw attacks, and the Zergling is now going to come in and finish off this SCV that was trying to hide out in the corner. Down it goes. Marines now going to take control of the center Xel'Naga Watchtower there. Down goes that one Zergling, as another Zergling still hiding off on that south Xel'Naga Watchtower. So the Zerg player will have an early warning system anytime Marines make their way across the map. Both players now buckling down into more of a macro style of play. We should be seeing a tech to tier 2 at some point off of this hatchery, perhaps getting some roaches or hydralisks. Infestors would also be a pretty safe call as well. The Marines now doing their 9-man march or 7-man march across the field, perhaps looking to try to catch some of those Zerglings in open field and pick them off one at a time. You can see one Zergling currently hiding in the brush, quickly getting destroyed though by the Gauss rifles of those Marines. Creep tumors are now trying to establish a decent creep highway. Only one real creep tumor has been laid down by a queen, so it looks like the Zerg player just trying to keep up on that spawn larva. We are now going into that blue flame research, so blue flame research now and being built as Hellions are now being added, and this is going to be very, very difficult for any Annyound or the Zerg player to try to counter, as Zerglings just absolutely melt two Hellions, those Hellions, and with that splash damage, Hellions try to get before they are able to surround, and they are usually dead by that point, as a couple of Hellions able to get so much damage onto that. See how much damage has been dealt as those Hellions now try to catch up to that one Zergling. And give me 1 second. Alright, sorry about that pause in the game, as Hellions now making their way out. There's an Overlord now doing a decent amount of scouting here. Blue Flame research about to be completed as the Hellions look to deal some damage. No Spine Crawlers, no Roaches. That is a definite problem, as those Hellions, as soon as that Blue Flame research completes, that is going to be a horrible nightmare for the Zerg. A drone barbecue already underway, as the Marines now coming in and just trying to offer some support as well. Hellions are going to get cleaned up here though, as the Zerglings are going to be able to clean up some of those Marines, as the drones joining in to lend a claw and finish off the rest of those Marines. The Marines are now all destroyed. Taking a look at the losses are even. 34 drones versus 35 SCVs. A couple of drones hiding off over here for just a moment, and I thought a lot more damage could have been utilized. Marines now making their way out, trying to shoot down that Overlord. More Hellions still being trained, as we are now throwing down 2 more Raxes. So 2 more Raxes being added. There are a decent number of Hellions as well. Hellions do not have armor upgrades though, so those Hellions are going to fall very easily once the Claw or those Banelings perhaps detonate on their target, the Zerglings. Very happy to see creep on that ground. The creep just allowing those Zerglings to move at such a high rate across the center portion of this map. Hellions now lying in wait, perhaps ready to spring a trap of some sort. They should not be splitting up like that. That is not what you want to see Hellions do, as the Zerglings now may be able to get a swarm off onto those Hellions. Oh, able to get some damage onto those units, and a Queen may be able to take some damage as well. Oh, Hellions looking to try to get some damage there, and now torching that one Queen as it comes into this location here. There are a lot of vulnerable drones already, as those drones are now fighting back, perhaps just trying to do some pathing, as those drones are now trying to run away. More drones are taking damage. The drones are trying to split apart to not take as much splash damage, but the drone barbecue right there. That looks to be about 7 or 8 drones, as the Hellions are continuing to battle it out. Roaches now trying to chase this one Hellion. These 2 Hellions. The Roach does have that movement speed up. No, it does not have the movement speed upgrade, but with a base of 16 damage, that is enough to finish off those Hellions there. Army-wise, 1,200 or a 1,500 resource army versus a 925. The Queen may be ready to come in and deal some damage back towards this Hellion in just a moment. The Roach trying to catch up to the Hellion, but the Hellion's just simply too fast. Zerglings wandering around still, looking for their target, and trying to see if they can deal any more damage towards those Marines in the center portion. Yeah, wow. Okay, adjusted my volume, that's a little bit too high. Marines now making their way out to the center portion of the map, and army-wise, 1,800 versus 650. Both players now establishing a new expansion here by the Terran player at the center 10 o'clock location. Meanwhile, the Zerg player establishing an expansion here at the 9 o'clock expansion location, and now the Hellion has to be very careful to try to get as much damage as possible, getting 4 more Zergling kills there. Nicely done, making sure to get a couple more kills in right before it gets destroyed. Marines now making their way across the field, cleaning up many of those creep tumors, and now making that creep slowly recede. Marines now sitting on the far side of this brush, they are most likely going to get killed very, very easily. There are roaches and banelings. STC at some point can easily just move out with his superior army. You can see he has a slightly higher harvester count. Wow, getting tripped up on my words today. A slightly higher harvester count as these siege tanks and marines are slowly on the move. Combat shield finally being researched, and you can see the sheer amount of production coming in from the STC, staying on top of his macro. You can see 161 actions per minute, very, very high actions per minute there. There is this open set of rocks right here, so I'm curious to see whether or not he's going to try, if the Zerg player is going to try to just funnel in with some of those Zerglings and get some damage here. So far, STC has not really mined out this location. He has not transferred that many SCVs at all, as we are now finally going into an infestation pit. I have not seen a Spire yet, which is a rare sight for a Zerg player. We are going to be getting infestors as the pathogen gland now being researched, allowing for 75 energy from an infestor the moment it engages in battle. Marines and Marauders now making their way out across the field. You can see where they are, and now activating the Zelnaga Watchtowers, wanting to get sight and figuring out what's going to be happening during this game. Roaches and Banelings. Banelings do have the movement speed upgrade, so they are going to be able to catch up to Marines and Marauders, but that is a large number of siege tanks. As long as those siege tanks are sieged, those siege tanks will be able to detonate those Zerglings before those Banelings get within splash distance. Siege tanks now getting ready, as we are now going to be getting a drop perhaps up on the high ground here. It looks like that is the target destination. Looking for a drop either here or perhaps another drop into this location if that particular expansion isn't done. Marines and the Marauders, oh, there you go, manually just destroying multiple Banelings, and now siege tanks going to continue to slowly push their way through. And without any Mutalisks to clean up those siege tanks, this is going to be a definite problem. The Marines only have 1-0 upgrades as the Infestors now making their way out. The Infestors are not going to be able to do all that much. Oh, getting a nice fungal growth off onto those units here, and now those Marauders are going to get destroyed. The problem is the siege tanks and this plateau right here, making it very difficult to run in with your Zerglings or your Banelings, especially as that creep is slowly receding. We are now going into Hive Tech, so Ultralists most likely want to be trained in order to try to break this front door here. Marauders still slowly cleaning up as many of those Banelings. Roaches now trying to make their way through as well as the Roaches now trying to battle it out over here, but not knowing there's so many siege tanks right behind the far side, and it looks like the Zerg player just sacrificing his units, not knowing that there were so many siege tanks on the far side there. The infested Terrans are going to be able to hatch up in just a moment, but the GG already came into play. So yeah, it looked like Annyound or the Zerg player didn't know there were so many siege tanks back over here, thinking perhaps there was only 2 to 3 siege tanks here, running in with those roaches in order to get within that 0 distance, only to get shelled by the siege tanks from behind, losing multiple infestors as well. Thanks for watching, thanks for listening. Hope you guys enjoyed this 1v1 replay between oGs's, the STC, and Annyound Prime World Elite here on Shakuras Plateau.